Hey, hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Beyond the Bank Account. I am Shara Prophet, your host, and I am a behavior modification specialist certified in clinical hypnotherapy, and I help high earners and high achievers understand and learn how to keep their money and grow wealthy through learning energetic principles of wealth. So I welcome you back to today's show. I apologize for being a few minutes late, but let's jump right in. I do not want to hold you all long today. I hope everybody is enjoying this beautiful Wednesday so far. So, today we are discussing why you are afraid to charge what you are worth, even though you know better. Okay. Now, let's talk about this for a moment because for those of you who are not only business owners, but you also work for other people, you work at a company, this applies to you as well. Because a lot of times, what happens when I'm talking to those of you who are employees at other companies, a lot of times we get afraid to ask for more because you're just so grateful to have the job that you have. Okay. And this is particularly for, the baby boomer generation. Okay. I know that my generation and after my generation, we are not afraid to ask for what we want. We're not afraid to, quit a job and go work at another job because that's typically how you get a raise these days, right? However, specifically for my baby boomers, the ones who are financially stable and you've been at your job for 20 or 30 years, this is also going to apply to you as well, okay? Because we are discussing value and worth, self-value and self-worth, okay? So just give me a moment. Let me make sure that everything is lining up on Facebook because sometimes it will not. Hmm, okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna have to. I have to figure this part out later. For the past few months, I've been trying to figure out how to take the privacy setting off of Facebook, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So anyway, let's hop right into this, y'all. So this conversation is something that I've been having a lot with my clients, and I know this all too personally for myself as well. And when you know that you bring excellent value to the table, when you know that what you do, your skills, your energy, your knowledge, your intuition, when you know that what you do makes incredible changes and gives people amazing results in their life. And even though they're talking about it and they tell you about it, and even at work, your boss or your supervisor praises you all the time for all the value and the energy that you bring, you still when it comes time for you to name your price, when it comes time for you to raise your price, something happens with that throat, right? It gets kind of stuck in the throat when you're saying how much your service or your product is, or when you're saying, during your evaluations, I did X, Y, and Z, and I think that it's time for a raise. Okay. Something happens in the physical body, in the nervous system and we kind of clam up or we choke up about it. And it's not so much that you don't know your value. It's not that you don't know your worth. I posted about this the other day. Like, we're so quick to slap a diagnosis on people when they repeat the same types of patterns that really don't take them to the next level where they really want to go. However, it's not necessarily that they don't love themselves or that they don't know their value or they don't understand their worth or know their worth. That those are like blanketed, like trending little phrases that we say. But really what happens is that there's something going on underneath the surface, right? In the subconscious, there's something taking place there. And we don't know what that story is. Everybody's story is going to be different. But usually the story is don't ask for too much, right? That is something that we've been taught, through different timelines. Like it's been passed down through generations to not ask for too much. Just keep your head down and do your work and just be grateful for whatever you got. Okay. So that story and that narrative, and it's different for each person, right? But I'm speaking about something that is a little bit more common because this is what I'm hearing from a lot of my clients, and I can also speak from my own experience that that was a running narrative. So undercharging is also a fear of rejection. Not asking for what it is you really, really, really want is that fear of rejection. Okay. What if they say no? What if they can't afford my prices? What if they think I'm greedy or I'm selfish? Okay. And that fear feels so real. And you'd rather play small than risk losing somebody's approval or risk losing someone because it also happens in relationships, right? Especially in romantic relationships. Sometimes people are fearful that what they're asking for is too much, so they don't open their mouths and they sit in resentment, and then that energy starts to kind of grow and grow and grow and grow. And you start to see how it offsets you and takes you out of alignment in different areas of your life. So the same thing is happening with your pricing for your business or with you asking for the kind of payment that you know you deserve at your place of work. Okay. Rejection is not about you. It's not about me, right? It's about whether or not the person that you're offering to, right, is ready to invest or if they're able to invest. I'm going to say that again. Rejection is not about you. It's about the person, okay? And whether the person that you're talking to, whether or not they're ready and willing to invest, or if they're even able to invest. So when you make their reaction mean something to you and allow it to be like a reflection of what your worth and your value is, then you stay trapped in a cycle of self-doubt. And it's really difficult to break yourself out of this, okay? So this is why I will tell a lot of my clients when they're talking about pricing and they feel nervous about raising their prices from, $125 to $1,000 per session. Okay. I say, why don't you do this? Right. And I want you all to do this too, who are listening. This is a really great exercise. Please just take some time to write down the amount of time, energy, and money that you have invested in the past, whether that's in your education, whether that's in your life experience. For those of us that are in the spiritual business, you know that we go through all kinds of attacks and spiritual awakenings and ascensions, and it can be very taxing and very painful, not only emotionally and mentally, but also physically. Okay, so I want you to count all of that in. Put a dollar amount on it. Put a dollar amount on it. Okay. And I want you to look at the amount that you have already invested and be able to say to yourself, well, wait a minute. Why am I standing on shaky ground right now about offering what I do that nobody else can do, right? No, people might be doing the same thing, but they're not doing it the way you're doing it. So why am I hesitant to name my price and make the offer when I've already invested so much time, energy, effort, and money into this? I have suffered for some of us, right? Not everybody, but for some of us, you have suffered and you've turned your pain into purpose. But now it is time to turn it into a nice big old paycheck. Okay? So, let's just call this what it is, y'all. All right. It's under earning. You're an overachiever who is under earning. All right. And I don't care if you're making $5 million a year. It is time for you to go and review, where can I be making more money? Where can I be pulling in more revenue right now? Okay. Not so much of what else can I do, but where can I raise my prices? Okay. That's a very, very important question you should be asking yourself. Where can I raise my prices? All right. Those of you who work for others, you work at a company. All right. How much money have I saved this company? How much money have I made this company? And what percentage of that would I like to see added to my paycheck? Okay? Because sometimes it's not just enough for you to sit in the mirror and say, I am worthy, I'm valuable, I know my value. Those are amazing and incredible affirmations. Okay? And I was just saying this the other day to a client. Affirmations are great tools, but they work better when you have cleared a deeper rooted issue. Okay. I'm not going to say they don't work because I hear people say, no, affirmations don't work. They work. They work, but they work better when you've cleared whatever the root problem is that has you continuously needing to go back and speak those affirmations. Does that make sense? I hope that it does. Okay. See, under earning is very sneaky because it doesn't always look like lack. Sometimes you have clients and money is coming in and everything is great, and on paper, things look okay. But if you are overworking, if you're overgiving, or you're undercharging, then you're going to start feeling like I'm under earning, I'm not bringing in enough. Okay. I read something the other day. I think someone posted it. They said, man, I'm one client away from being put out on the street. Okay. One client away. See, my next question would be to that person, well, how much are you charging each client? Could you charge each client what your monthly expenses for your personal and business life? Could you do that with what it is you offer, with what it is you do? And if you can't do that with your current client base, then what kind of client would you need to be able to charge that? Okay. Makes sense, right? And why am I saying all of this? Because these are things that I have recently had to do. Okay. I have had to, my business has gone under, restructuring again. All right. But as business owners, that's what we do. We have to reinvent ourselves. We have to get over those hurdles and over those bumps and curbs so that we are able to continue to scale and grow our business so that we don't have to always be working in it. Because the goal as a business owner is to be the business owner. Okay. Even if you're working for another business, right? Eventually, the goal is for you to retire so that you can sit back and relax, but you want to make sure you have more than enough available to you so that you can do that comfortably. All right. A lot of you, for a lot of you, your offerings are disguised as being reasonable and affordable, okay? So that you can be nice. And I have done the same thing. I have tried to make my prices reasonable. I've tried to make them affordable for people, okay? Because my heart is just, I just want people to learn. I just want people to have access, all right? But one of the most powerful things that I heard, and I was like, oh my goodness, thank you for saying that. Because I used to say, treat your business like a ministry. And one of my mentors, she said, your business is not a ministry. If you want to be in ministry, go volunteer somewhere, go to church and join a ministry. Your business is a business, and your business is designed to generate money and revenue. That's what it's there for. Okay. That's what it's there for. And I was like, she's so right. She's so right. Okay. So fear is what is underneath all of that. Okay. When we want to be reasonable and affordable, really, we're afraid that people are just not gonna want to spend that kind of money. And what I'm telling you is that there are people who will pay you what you're offering. They will pay the price that you're saying this is what the price is. They will pay you. You may have to move out of your comfort zone to get there, but they're going to pay you. Okay? They're going to pay you. Now, if it's hard for you to move out of your comfort zone, then you need to look at something deeper. You need to dig a little deeper and you need to figure out what in the world is inside of me that makes me feel uncomfortable with stepping out of my comfort zone. All right. What is that underlying fear there? What is the voice saying to me? Every time I'm getting ready to, raise my price, every time I'm getting ready to announce that my prices have been raised, or every time I know I should really go over here to this environment or to this group of people and just immerse myself in this group of people, I pull away and then I don't do it. What is the underlying factor there? Who is the invisible driver? Okay, and where is that invisible driver trying to take you, or where is it trying to keep you? Ask yourself these questions. It's very, very important, especially for those of you that are high achievers and you are high earners, right? But just because you're a high earner doesn't mean you can't earn more, doesn't mean you're not supposed to earn more. You can always use more. There's nothing wrong with wanting more, especially when you're in integrity and you're operating from a space of a higher elevated level, okay? There's nothing wrong with you desiring more, and there's nothing wrong with you pivoting in your business or you getting another job so that you are comfortable and not comfortable in the way where you're not going to move anymore and you're just, oh, I'm happy just being right where I am. And for some people, that's cool, but I'm not talking to y'all. For those of you that are comfortable where you don't want to do anything else. Like Mariah Carey said, I've done enough. I don't have any more goals, and I totally felt her on that. Okay, so this is not for everyone, but for those of you that have that drive, you got that thing inside of you that's saying, yeah, and it's time for more. And guess what? It's okay to want more money. I want to say that too, because a lot of people are out here preaching that, money isn't everything, and you all are out here charging people for your knowledge and charging people for spiritual knowledge and guidance and coaching and things. You absolutely right. And if you don't want to pay it, you don't have to. You can go to someone who can give it to you for free. And that's wonderful that you can do that and that you have a place to go for that. I'm talking to high earners, high achievers who want more. That's who I'm talking to. This is not for you. Click off. Okay? And even if you don't feel like you are a high earner, but you know that you want to be, this is the place for you. Okay? Because we need to break free of the old construct and the old paradigm that is something wrong with being wealthy. If you still associate wealth and being rich and having lots of money with evil, this is not the place for you. I'm talking to elevated, high-minded people who understand that if you are truly in alignment with Source, that Source wants you to have everything. Source wants you to be prosperous, abundant, wealthy, healthy, whole. You know why? Because you can be of service much better when you are wealthy. You can be of service much more easily. You can help people a lot easier when you have plenty, when your cup is overflowing with money. Okay? With money. We live in the 3D world. We live on earth where everything costs money. That's just how it is. Okay? The water that you drink, costs money. Don't go ahead and don't pay your water bill for a while. See what happens. All right. So now we're at a space where we know better, but knowing better is not enough. It's not because you can read all the books, you can take all the courses, and even coach yourself through affirmations. You could do all of that. Okay. But knowing better does not automatically shift your behavior. Reading a book does not automatically shift your behavior. Speaking affirmations does not automatically shift your behavior. Your subconscious programming, your old money stories, your unresolved fears and beliefs, they will keep you right where you are until you actively rewrite them and rewire your nervous system for more. You need awareness plus action, okay? Because faith without works don't work. Just don't, okay? Awareness plus action is what brings transformation. You knowing that you need to change, you knowing that you need to raise your prices, you knowing that you should be asking for more money at work, you knowing that you need to be putting your applications in somewhere else. That's cool, but are you doing it? And if you're not able to do it, are you asking yourself the right questions? Okay. Let's talk about what shifts when you finally do claim your worth and you do start feverishly, unapologetically going after it. When you finally set your rates in alignment with your true value, okay, and I already told you what to do to get yourself in alignment with that so that you can logically and be able to look at it at the numbers and say, oh my God, I have invested over $200,000 in my business, in my education. I'm talking about college tuition. Count all of it. Okay. Books that you've purchased to read, classes that you've taken over the years, certifications that you've paid for, the time that you have invested in learning new things, the time that you have invested healing. Okay. Because let's talk about healing for a minute. Healing in itself is a whole college course. Okay. And you can count that as $100,000 on its own or more, depending on how much healing you've done and what you've had to go through. Okay. I'm going to value mine at 1 million, to be honest with you, because of the things that I have had to clear and look at within myself. Because everybody's not doing that kind of work. And most people don't even understand what that looks like, what it feels like. Because most people you can't even have those conversations with, but that's a whole nother story. Okay. So I've already told you, I've already given you a blueprint of how to figure out what you've already invested. Let that be a starting point because see something about the mind, right? When you show it images, numbers, symbols, which is the language of the subconscious mind, something happens where it's like, oh, shoot, now I am getting it. Okay, so I have invested close to $500,000 in this business. Time, energy, effort. Put a dollar amount on your time, your energy, and your effort and your pain. Put a dollar amount to that. Don't just add up the stuff that costs physical cash. I'm talking about the energetic exchanges that you have had to deal with. All right. So, oh my goodness, man, that's like $1 million. That's going to change your whole outlook. Believe me. You'll be like, I should be charging people $200,000 a pop, right? And you can. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You can in the right circles and around the right people. You just got to get yourself around the right people. That's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole business class right there. I'm not going to get into that. Okay. Not here. Not on this platform. But once you truly align with your value, your true value, I'm not talking about how you feel about yourself, right? Because let's get it. If y'all are here, most of you all love yourselves, right? Most of you all know that you're worth it. You know your value. You know intrinsically, you know that, right? But I'm talking about that value on paper as a business owner, as an employee. Once you write that down and see that, you're like, okay, now I got some numbers to work with. And watch how the ideas start coming. Some of you don't even have to do anything different. Like I didn't have to like go back to school when I started restructuring my business and all of that type of stuff. No, I took what I already do, what I already have, because I have years and years of experience and a ton of amazing, beautiful stories and reviews and testimonials from people who have had their lives change from the work we have done together. So I don't need to not do what I do anymore. I'm just changing the way that I do it and who I target. Do you understand that? So once that comes into clarity for you, you're going to start to feel more confident. Your clients respect you more because even the clients who are like, man, ooh, girl, I love you, but I got to come back when I can afford that. And I tell them, you got plenty to fall back on. You got plenty of stuff to thumb through and plenty of practices that we have done over the years so that you can get yourself to that point. I'm not saying, oh, okay, well, for you, I will just charge. No, I'm saying you already have every tool that you need. And they're like, I know, because those are the kind of clients I have. My clients do not ask me to lower my prices. They encourage me. They're like, girl, you should be charging this. Like, even if I can't pay for it right now, I'm gonna figure out a way to be able to pay for that. Those are the kind of clients and students that I have. Hey, what you doing? What you working on now? What you got going on now? Because you know I'm gonna buy everything you do. Those are the kind of clients that I attract. Those are the kind of clients that I have. And do you know why? Because everything I'm telling you to do right now, I have done it and I'm continuing to do it because I know that there's more, because I want more. I desire more. And I'm not apologetic about wanting more. I'm not apologetic about me seeing myself living a certain lifestyle in a certain way. I've never backed down from that, ever. And I never will. And you shouldn't either. You should not either. Okay? The people that you will begin to attract will want to see you transform and descend and elevate and go higher and higher and higher. Okay? Your clients will want you to go higher and go bigger. They will say to you, you need to, I think you should do this because you deserve more. Okay? Charging what you are worth because you know your value. It's not just about money. Okay? It's about honoring your energy, your time, your effort. And that's sacred exchange of value. That's what this is about. That's sacred exchange. That's a sacred thing. For those of you who are very spiritual, okay, and religious even, don't you always when you're praying, when you're, when you're going to do a ritual or whatever, and you're working with, a deity or source or God, whatever you want to call it, Jesus, whomever, don't you usually come with some sort of offering, even if it's just thank you, a praise, a worship, okay? You don't step into that energy exchange empty-handed. That's a sacred exchange, but you always come with something. And for those of you that are spiritual and you do work with deities, you come with an offering, right? Because you're coming to that energy requesting something, right? But you come with an offer. You come with something, even if it's just thanks or praise. You come with something. Everything is an energetic exchange. Okay. Everything is an energetic exchange. Everything is an energetic exchange. I want you to remember that. All right. So if you are feeling challenged in this area, you notice that there are places where you shrink your price out of fear. Ask yourself, am I avoiding rejection and why? Where's this coming from? Am I honoring my true value? Meaning, everything that I have invested, right? I know how much I've already poured in. I know how much I have invested. I know how much value my energy exchange brings to other people. Am I really honoring that part of me? Okay. If you want support in rewriting any of those old patterns, any of those old beliefs, rewiring your nervous system and your subconscious mind for that, that I encourage you to go ahead and join my mailing list. Okay, I'm going to put that in the comment section after this video is finished recording. That way, you will be one of the first to access my Sovereign Wealth Archetype quiz and ebook. It is finished. So that will be ready probably this week, okay? And I will send out an email. So definitely get on the email list. The other reason why it's important to get on the email list is because we never know what's going to happen to these platforms, right? We don't know what's going to happen to Facebook, to YouTube, to Instagram, or wherever. And I have already experienced that in the past of like losing, somebody hacked into my Facebook account and I lost access to like a lot of followers. Thankfully, a lot of them did get on the email list, but a majority of them didn't. And I don't know if they can find me or not now, right? So if you want to stay tapped into what's going on in my community, then I highly recommend that you get on the email list. Okay. And for those of you who want to have a deeper conversation about this, then I encourage you to book a call with me. You can book a Sovereign Millionaire wealth call with me. Okay. It's totally free. And we will chat about where you are right now, what your potential blockages are, where you want to be, and then we can discuss which direction might be the best one for you. Okay. So I appreciate you all's time, your energy, and your attention today. I hope that this has been very helpful for you. In fact, I know that it was very helpful for you. If you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up and leave comments in the comments area. I like to respond to you all and talk to you all. And then I would love to work with you one-on-one or in some sort of group or class setting. Also, for those of you that may not be quite ready to invest in the Sovereign Millionaire activation, which is our VIP 2-day activation. It's an intensive and it is incredibly powerful. And it kind of just, not kind of, it does blast you through those blockages very, very quickly. If you are not quite ready to invest in that, then I encourage you to check out bemagicschool.org and take a look at the Mystical Money Mastermind. All right, y'all. I will see you in the next video. Be well until then.